Hi everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Welcome Home. I'm so glad you joined us today, and I know this show is going to be a blessing to you. We decided to look back over the past several months of Welcome Home shows and re-air parts of programs that really touch the hearts of our viewers. And this is one of those shows. Jonathan and Alicia Farrant are a young couple with 5 children who listen for God's voice and follow His leading even when it's not necessarily something they'd planned out. You might remember Jonathan's story. He visited some children in a cancer ward, children who had lost their hair, and he found out that there were no agencies or ministries supplying wigs for children in other countries, particularly Latin American countries. And how he was going to do it is another story, but seeing those children, some of them on the brink of heaven, struggling with self-esteem and poor health, it made him want to make a difference in a child's life. And he has. I can't wait for you to hear his story and see what Jonathan and Alicia are doing to provide wigs for those precious children. Watch with us and be inspired all over again. Hi everyone, I'm so glad that you joined us for this particular segment on Welcome Home because we have a great story to share with you. You know, we're all about here at Good Life 45 about sharing Christ in compelling ways, and we like to do that through life-changing stories because oftentimes stories resonate with our viewers, with you. And if you have anyone in your circle of influence, which we all seem to know somebody who's either gone through cancer or has cancer, then you know that you have a heart for those people, in particular the ones who lose their hair to chemotherapy. So we have this incredible guest back with us today, Jonathan Farrant and his gorgeous wife, Alicia. They're here to share their story. God gave them a vision and a story to share with us, so you're going to be tremendously blessed. Welcome back, Farrant family.
Thank you.
And the reason I say family is because you brought your little baby with you here today. Tell us about this newest addition.
I did. His name is Jonathan Mark, and he's 2.5 months.
Oh.
Number 5.
And now, I was going to say, and there are 4 others ahead of them. And you guys look like you just got out of college, so I don't know how you did it, but you've done a great job. Tell us about your other family, Jonathan.
Yeah, we have 5 kids. Peter Mark's 11. Sophia is
9.
9.
Yeah.
I forget birthdays. I forget
okay.
names and all that kind of stuff.
Aaliyah is 6. Jethro is almost 3. And then the new baby is
Isn't that
2.5.
wonderful? What a blessing. So,
Thank you.
and I would say there could even be some more little Farrants listening to your story and seeing how much you do love your children. And it's kind of easy for you, right?
I don't know about easy, but we try to have fun with it.
When did it get easier, though? After, like, number 3? Or I've heard that 4 doesn't really make any difference.
It's true. It's true. Like, 3 was kind of like, whoa, it threw me off balance. And then the more kids after that, it's kind of like,
it doesn't
you just throw them in the mix.
And luckily you have 2 little precious girls, and I bet they help a lot,
yes,
right?
They do help a lot, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And our oldest as well. Yeah.
Good. And so I have heard that you kind of came up with this vision, that God gave you a vision for this new mission that you have. Tell us about it.
So, yeah, Jonathan came home one day and was telling me about his trip to the cancer hospital that we visit in El Salvador. And he had just told me about how he wanted to grow his hair out. And he said, hey, I know you can crochet and you love to sew, and so you're going to have to make this work and figure something out. And I thought maybe he would, like, forget about it because I could not figure out how I was going to make that work. But the more that we talked about it, and as the months progressed and his hair kept growing, and I kept trying to think of something, and it's amazing how when God gives you that kind of vision, he helps you create it and makes it happen.
Well, and she's a great designer. She's a little humble, but she actually designs clothes, and she's been doing it for quite some time. We had a missions team come down about 8 years ago or so, and one of the ladies brought her a sewing machine. And I was like, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah, you didn't know how to sew?
Like, no, she's like, I'm going to create something. And I'm like, that's a waste of time. And next thing I know, she's like making these dresses, and people are wanting to buy it. And she's got all these people wanting to, you know, buy it from her. And I'm like, okay.
I know. It's amazing.
That's not a waste of time.
It is amazing what, like, Google videos.
Yeah. So that's how you learn. You taught yourself. But it's also, I bet, that it's a gift that God has given you as well, right?
I think you're right. Yes, absolutely.
So the vision was that you would grow your hair out, Jonathan, so that at some point you would cut that hair and make our 3 little visitors here, our 3 little wigs, are wigs that you would donate to children
Right.
who had lost their hair, right?
Yeah, well, it was a couple years ago. We had scheduled a visit to a cancer hospital. And, I'm this missionary doing the same routine that I always do. You kind of become a professional, when you're doing ministry. It's like, it becomes like second nature. And we show up at this hospital, and I had a moment that kind of wrecked me. And it was when I had this little girl on my lap, and I was just a basket case, because this girl was she was just so full of joy and hope, and,
Right.
and I just felt like, what can I do to show this girl how much I love and appreciate her? And so it was in that moment that I decided to grow out my hair, and, I wanted to be able to come back and with my head shaved in a wig and be able to give it to the girl. And so we had a lot of challenges and roadblocks along the way, but my wife pulled it off, designing this and with the hats and
Well, I remember watching that video. We're going to show our viewers a video in just a minute, but I remember hearing you say, if only I could take this little girl's place. I mean, you sincerely meant that. A dad, a husband, a wonderful missionary, a person that serves the Lord, and yet you felt in your heart that you had to do something, even if it was to grow your own hair and shave your head or whatever it was. You would have given your life for that little girl. That's what I heard in the video,
That's
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was to me, it was a moment with Christ when I
Yeah.
had that girl in my hands. It was like one of those, like, what can I do that would be a little piece of resemblance, symbolic of what Christ did for us?
What Christ did for
and
us.
so that was when
Beautifully
I was
said.
like, grow my hair out, shave it, give it to the girl.
Let's let our viewers get a glimpse of you and your vision, and watch this video with us, and we'll be right back.
So what have been some of the people's reactions when they see you this long hair?
I've had people that I haven't seen in a long time. They'll see me from afar and come running and say, oh my gosh, are you going through a midlife crisis? And I've had people tell me that, all the names, hippie, rock star, all that kind of stuff. So I don't normally have long hair. And so my daughter says I look like a girl every single morning. This is my son, Peter.
What do you think about Dad's hair?
You need to cut its hair
Okay.
Cut it, why?
because it's too long.
But it looks good, right?
No, you look like a girl.
I'm this missionary hosting a team and doing my thing. I'm fulfilling my jobs and assignments, checking out the days, and we show up to this cancer hospital, and it was a moment that it was the experience that changed me for a long time. As I was playing with one girl, I had her on my lap, and she was just smiling, and I just was heartbroken for her sickness. She had no hair. She was so happy that day, and I remember all I could do was I'd pray and I'd say, God, is there any way that I could take her place? And so it was in that moment that, I really felt inspired to do something for this girl. And something that was beyond just, praying for her, giving her money or whatever. It was something I wanted her to feel Christ's love. And so it was through that experience that I made a decision to start growing my hair so that I can actually make a wig out of it, and so that we can go back and give the wigs to different girls. So it's actually a ministry that we're kind of starting to bless many kids that have cancer with wigs. The length is now at the length that it needs to be, and so I'm going to shave it, and that's part of the deal, is to shave it just like these girls that I have a heart for. And my hope is that they would see the heart and the passion and the love behind this, and so I can give them a piece of me, and they can also receive a piece of the love of Christ.
Precious little video, and what an enormous blessing this couple is to these people that really have sometimes lost hope. But I tell you what, Alicia and Jonathan, I loved when your daughter was like, "You look like a girl, Dad." Did they give you a hard time about that, growing your hair out?
Absolutely. Aaliyah did the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a challenge for me because
Sure.
halfway through I wanted to get rid of it, you know, because I didn't like having to use a shampoo and comb it, and you know, I have a newfound respect for women
That's
and
right.
their hair.
It's not easy, right,
yes.
Alicia?
Right, exactly.
Well, and then all the comments I got, you know,
Yeah.
like people I hadn't seen in a while was like, "What's wrong with you? You know, you're going
Midlife
through
crisis."
midlife crisis, and
Absolutely.
you know, every single name in the book, you know, and so."
It was really funny. Yeah, Aaliyah was she's always cracking us up, but she every morning literally would say, "You look like a girl, Dad," every morning. But
But you know, the
makes
longer,
it fun.
how long did it take you to grow your hair where you could cut it?
It was about a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, it was about a
But
year
see,
and a half.
during that whole year and a half, didn't you have lots of opportunity to share Christ with people about what you were doing,
Absolutely.
getting ready to do?
Yeah, for a lot of people, I had time to sit down and actually
Yeah.
explain it to them.
Exactly.
For some people, I didn't really want it to be.
You don't want to brag.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't want it to. Oh, that's great, you know, whatever. I didn't want to sound too
Pious.
Christian or
Yeah.
whatever.
right,
know.
right.
You know,
I
I just really felt like it's something that I want to do personally.
Sure,
And someday they were going to see me with the shaved
That's
head.
right.
and then they would know.
Absolutely.
So how did you come up with the idea? What this is like you said, just a few inches, and you button it on. The girls that
Yeah.
wear them, they have to wear the hat. It's not like a real wig that's woven.
Right.
It's just, how did you come up with this?
Wow, honestly, he believes in me more than I think I believe in myself, because he kept saying, "No, you've got it, you got it." And I was like, "I don't think I can. I don't know how to figure this out." And he'd say, "No,
Right.
keep thinking, keep thinking." And so I knew we wanted to do the crocheted part, so we did that, or knitted, whatever. So we made the hat, and then I kept thinking about it, and so we ended up. He found a YouTube video on how to sew the hair together.
Okay.
So there I was with my sewing machine. Never thought I'd be sewing hair
Right.
on my sewing machine. So we did that, and then put a piece of fabric over that, and then used the snaps.
Well, and the thing is, when I was playing with the girls in El Salvador at the Cancer Center, I noticed that they were embarrassed, you know, of their.
Sure.
And when they'd want to take pictures with us, but they would kind of go like this, and so I really was like, you know, as long as I'm alive, these girls are gonna have a wig.
Yeah, that is such a great story. Well, we're going to see a little video in just a minute, viewers. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, you're going to see a video of the response of these girls when they receive these incredible wigs, and Jonathan's response as well. So stay with us. We'll be right back to talk more with Alicia and Jonathan Farrant. I hope that you're enjoying our incredible story today of a couple who has sacrificially given. They've seen a need. By the way, this need is to give hair to children who have lost their hair due to chemotherapy. And we just found out, because we were talking during the break, that there are no missions or ministries that provide hair for children overseas. We do it domestically here in the United States, but we don't do it overseas. What's
Yeah.
the deal with that?
Well, my first mission when I got back, after the Lord had stirred it in my heart, was to find a place that would help me.
Yes.
And so I made phone calls. I had a team of family members calling places, and we just kept hitting wall after wall after wall. And so finally I said, well, how much would it cost to make one? And we got some, you know, estimates back. And you'd be surprised. I mean, it costs up to $1,500.
Wow.
You know, the cheapest was around $500. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could raise that. And that's when I was kind of like, I think.
Yeah,
I think you
Alicia can do it for next to nothing.
I mean, you
right?
only got 5 kids. Come on, why not make 500 wigs?
Seriously. So far your hair has made 3 wigs, right? Is that all?
6 wigs.
Oh,
actually.
6 wigs.
Yes, this is the other. We brought 3 already, and this is the next.
So the ministry is
3,
called
yeah.
Wigs of Hope. So you've already given away the 3.
Yeah.
And then you're getting ready to give these 3 away as well.
Yes.
Well,
right?
we're looking at doing 20 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've had people already sent in from different locations.
Wow.
And so,
Tell us what the doctor thinks about all this and the children.
Yeah.
What are their responses like?
well, I was like really nervous when You know, I walked into that hospital with my shaved head because it had been a year and a half. We had planned and prepared. It was kind of like that wedding day, you know, where you're like, you've made all these preparations, and how are they going to like it? You know, are they going to enjoy it? You know, what is their reaction going to be? And so we're sitting back in a waiting room, and Dr. Vasquez comes in. Dr. Vasquez, he's responsible for all of the hospitals in many locations throughout the world. I mean, this guy's saved countless lives. This guy's a living legend. So I felt kind of nervous. You know, here he was in the room, and what is he going to say, and how's he going to respond? And he picks up the product, and in tears, he says, "Thank you for providing life to my children." And that's when I knew that we had something special.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The children, Alicia, can you tell us about one or two of the children?
Yes,
stories.
There's when Jonathan went down, he talked to the doctor and was like, you know, could you bring maybe one of the girls in? And there's, I mean, about 500 children that are at this hospital. And it just so happens that they brought in one of the little girls, Kaylee, who we had been in touch with before and taken photos with her, and just what a real sweetheart. Very sensitive about losing her hair. And so when she came in, it was just such a surprise and so exciting to know that we could give one to her. And so she comes in, and when her eyes just started lighting up, this is a little girl who never would smile, was always very sad, always just to herself. And when she saw these hats and knowing that this is something that was made for her, and so she put that on, and just a huge smile. And
after she put it on, you know, she had this big smile, and I just looked at her and said, "You're wearing my hair," you know. And it's just, to me, it's more than just a product.
Yeah.
It's the message behind the product.
Absolutely.
Because our goal is to connect people with the children.
Right. Why you're doing it. You're doing it because you love Jesus,
Right.
and these wigs give them hope in Jesus Christ, whether they live or not. I mean, it's a horrible thing to think about. They might not make it, but at least they know that they have been touched by Jesus, because that's an act of incredible sacrifice on your part.
Yeah. And that's the message. You know, we want to connect people that have grown their hair out, cut it. You know, our intent is to show the kids the picture of their sponsor, to say, hey, look, this person grew their hair out for you.
Yeah.
You know, because they loved you, and they prayed for you while they did it, and you know, and the people that made the hats. You know, we're looking at working with drug rehab centers and women's centers and different people that are gonna. My wife's gonna teach to.
How to do that.
How to do it.
Where we can all be a part, and people who may not, you know, feel like they could go down on a mission trip or become missionaries, feel that they can be a part of.
They can send their hair, and they can make the hat, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I want our viewers now to see a picture of what it actually looks like when Jonathan gives a child a wig and what that child responds like. So watch this video and be ready to be blessed. I don't know about you viewers, but this story is touching my heart. And if I were guys, if I had your great hair and I were maybe 20 years younger, I'd grow my hair out too to give to these children. So how, Jonathan, can people get involved with your ministry?
Well, it's kind of, for me, this whole thing's kind of like a surprise. I never had this in my plan. So before I tell people how to get involved, I just really want to just say how, I never thought we'd be doing this in a million years. But I do remember when I gave my life to the Lord, I said, God, whatever it is that you have for me. I never prayed to be a missionary. I never prayed to be an evangelist. I never prayed to be a pastor.
Right.
I just prayed, God, I want to be your servant in whatever way. And so the Lord kind of surprised us with his ministry. I go to church now, and I have girls coming and going, you like my hair? And I'm like, why are they asking me if I like their hair? It's so weird, and then I remember, oh yeah, we're doing this ministry, and and whatever. But God has really, I feel a special anointing upon this. You saw in the video, Natalie hugged me. She wouldn't let me go. This was more than just a product. Our desire is that we could send a package to these girls, that they would receive a Wigs of Hope product, that they would receive a Bible, scripture verse, a t-shirt, a backpack, a necklace, some earrings. We want them to be blessed, so.
Do you see this going places other than Latin America? Could it go global?
Absolutely.
My prayer, this is my prayer.
Okay.
I said, God, I kind of made this little pact with the Lord. I said, God, if you would allow us to provide a product for every girl in El Salvador, we'll take this around the world.
Wow.
So we just want to be faithful with the Lord gives us. If he gives us $100, we'll make one. We'll send one package, If he gives us $1,000, we'll send 10. We just want to be faithful and administrate what God puts into our hands.
Right.
Any hair is going to do. I mean, I know you send this to Latin America, so your hair color is perfect. It's dark, but you would take a blonde wig, right? Would you make a blonde wig for these little girls or no?
At this point in
Probably
El
not.
Salvador, we're doing brown
Okay.
and that dark black.
A dirty blonde, little,
With a
would
mix
probably
of that.
work because there are some lighter kids, but we prefer right now the darker.
Well, this is obviously a mission and a ministry that God has laid upon your heart in such a cool way, because who would ever, you, Jonathan and Alicia, you couldn't have dreamed this up in a million years. What would ever make you decide that you're going to grow your hair out? That is not who you are,
No,
right?
to me, that was it was a moment with the Lord.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just obedience to him, because, I've seen the result of this now. I've spoken to thousands of people on a stage, but I have never seen such an impact in a heart. I've never seen God just penetrate an overwhelming sense of love in one room. Dr. Vasquez comes in, the nurses were coming, people in the hospital, they were all, it stirred up like a mini revolution in this hospital, like, what is this, and here comes this man who had long hair and cut his, everybody would say Jesus hair, cut his Jesus hair off, and now he's giving it to these kids. So it really is a thing. My wife, I really give her credit, a lot of credit for this.
Absolutely. So tell our viewers and all of us how we can get involved with your ministry.
Well, my wife could use a lot of help because, with the 5 kids, it's a little
You're
overwhelming.
talking about like crocheting even the hats.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So-
are you hearing that, grandmothers out there and young moms out there? Crocheting the hats is a great
That's
way
right.
to help.
And this is a ministry that anybody can get involved, from the youngest to the oldest.
Yes.
Because we need people to help crochet. We need people to grow their hair out and give it. Kids can do that.
So we can, if you are interested, people can go to wigsofhope.org.
Okay.
And we also have a Facebook page. If people are on Facebook, you can go to Wigs of Hope on Facebook.
Okay.
Just to get any details or more information.
Well, we know that you would like a lot of prayer as well. So if all you can do
Absolutely.
is pray for this ministry, we would really encourage you to pray for Jonathan and Alicia Farrant's wonderful Wigs of Hope ministry. You can go to that website that's on your screen right now to get more information about how you can get involved. Thanks again to God for bringing this precious couple and family across our paths today. Now stay with us because we've got more good stuff lined up for you right here on Welcome Home. What a wonderful program today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I got a huge blessing talking to our guests today. They inspired me and challenged me to find ways to make others' lives better and to bring them closer to Jesus Christ. Well, now I want to end our time together with a note of hope. There was a song by Amy Grant where she sang about her Father's eyes. She was talking about her Heavenly Father and His eyes full of compassion, eyes that see the best in others, eyes that we should want to have. My good friend Chris Ebert, she's our great cloud contributor and stage 4 breast cancer survivor, is someone who has eyes that see things differently. Not too unlike Jonathan Farrant, whose eyes saw children in cancer wards with a definite need for love and attention. Well, when I take long walks with Chris, she amazes me at her ability to see what I can't see. She'll spot a tiny little bloom on a distant flower and she'll stop to take note. She sees a caterpillar making its way across a path that I might inadvertently have stepped upon. Chris gazes at God's creation and appreciates the little things that I used to see as a child, but am too busy or preoccupied with conversation to see now. Our Father's eyes, that's what I want. Our God speaks to us in tiny whispers all around us. I pray that we will hear His voice, see His handiwork, recognize a need in someone, and drink in His gifts to us day by day, moment by moment. And that's our note of hope for today. We'll see you next time right back here on Welcome Home. Bye-bye, everybody, and God bless you.